I made $9,800 today trading forex, and I've got a simple strategy. I'm going to show you exactly what I do. Before I go and start having a swim with some sharks and boxing some kangaroos and maybe even wrestling a few huntsman spiders. So let's go ahead and get right into the video. I can't do the Australian accent for the whole video, but what I can do is I can show you, this is the trade I took today. This was a Euro AUD trade. So this is a trade I closed today. You can see I took it a couple of days ago. This is a daily chart. Took it last week. And the total P&L on it was $9,800. And the total P&L this month for me is sitting around $26,000 rolling P&L for the past month. And so it's been a pretty good past few weeks trading Forex. I'm going to show you exactly what I do here in this video. I'm going to show you literally everything. And you know, if you just want to follow all this stuff live every single day, then what you can do is you can just join my free Telegram channel, which is actually where I post this morning. There's about 61,000 people in it. You just hit the first link in the description below. My camera froze, so let me just see if this will work. You can hit the first link in the description below, or you can actually just, you know, I'll probably put it in the pinned comment. That way you can see it. So I don't know why this isn't working. Look at this. Check it out. This is like my Mac webcam thing. Super low production quality YouTube videos because I'm just, here we go. Okay, so look, it'll look halfway decent for maybe half the video if we're lucky. But that's not important because what's more important is actually showing you guys exactly what I'm doing here. So let's go look. I called this trade out. Here's my little Nick's Trades group here in Discord. And in this trade, I called it out last week right here. So on the 12th, so February 12th, 2025. So a couple days ago. This was the trade. And whenever I call trades out here in the Nick's Trades group here in Discord, I'm going to put a setup here this week. This is how simple it is. I'm short on Euro AUD. I've got a $10,000 risk. Everything's shown in the image above. And then I just post my actual live trading terminal. That's what I just show it all. I just show everything. There's none of this like posting the trading view analysis or this and that. I just post the actual thing. Now, why did I take this trade? You may already see because of how ridiculously simple it is, but you see this little shaded little box thing on the chart. That's just a support resistance zone. For me on the daily chart here, I thought it looked really clear. Prices had a nice bounce here, a clear bounce here, then broke above and started bouncing as support up from this zone like 2-3 times. It broke below it, came all the way back in to retest it, and lo and behold, I just thought, well, you know, maybe it'll act as resistance now. So what did I do? I just entered a sell at the zone. I put a stop loss above and a target below. I risked $10,000 on this trade to go for a target of $10,000 on this trade, and it was a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. If you just have a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio and you win a little bit more than 50% of your trades, if you're just halfway decent at trading somewhat, then you can make a little bit more than you lose long term, and that's trading. It doesn't have to be this huge crazy thing. It's super, super, super simple. We're going to go over a few examples too, but I called that out. The next day, it looks 2 days later, I was like, I'm going to hold it over the weekend. That's where it was at, sitting in a little bit of profit. And then today I called this out. You can see, look, at 4:40 a.m. this morning, I said, look at this shit. So then I posted it right here. It had almost hit the profit target, right? But it didn't close due to spread. So I zoomed in on the minute 15 chart. You can see there's the sell entries way up even here off the charts. But you can see it tried to go and hit the TP, but the spread was a little bit too wide because with forex.com, you know, the spreads are just, you know, a little bit wider, a little bit harder to get your profit targets hit when the spread's wider. So I ended up saying at 4:41 a.m. I'm closing Euro AUD here. So I closed it when it was right here. And then this was the total P&L. So even with swap fees, you can see the swaps for this trade was all positive. I also put a screen recording of my whole terminal in here. So that way you can see in the Telegram channel the total. You just go look at it for yourself. It's here in my Telegram channel. First link in the description of this video. But you can see right there, you saw there for a second, all the swap fees were positive. So the swaps didn't even actually cost me anything on this. I actually made probably, what, like maybe 9,900. I made like just under 10,000. So technically, maybe I am a fraud because I lied. On this video, I said I made 10,000. I actually made like maybe like $9,900 if we count the fees. You're going to have to just forgive me. I'm going to show you this whole trading strategy. So let's go ahead and get into it. What the hell do I actually do? Well, here's what I do. I go to the daily chart. This is when I'm swing trading, right? And it's a little bit more nuanced and context based than this. But in general, in short, this is what I do, and you can just follow all my analysis and stuff for free in the Telegram channel. I send out my analysis like this, and I also post other little just funny bullshit in here. I pretty much just post whatever I want, anything that I think is interesting in the channel. It's trading related mainly, but I started posting a little bit more stuff that I think is fun just for the hell of it. But a lot of it's just my analysis. I have to kind of figure out like what to actually post because a lot of the analysis is really boring and it kind of takes a minute to work out. This is February 10th. You can see this exact Euro AUD trade that I was telling you about, that I just closed in profit today. This is me calling it out here in the Telegram channel before it even set up, right? This is before it even came back up to retest into the zone. Like I called it when it was like down here, right? So I was saying like, okay, if it comes back up to retest, then I'm going to sell. And lo and behold, it comes back up, and then I sell whenever it retests, and it goes a little bit against me, then it starts coming back down, and it hit the target today. I share all that here in this Telegram channel. If you're not here in this Telegram channel, you are missing out. There are 61,000 people in here. Just join it. It's literally free. You can be in here in like the next 5 seconds. So I go to a chart, and then I just look at where price is bouncing on the daily, and wherever I think price is bouncing at very clearly, I will just draw this little stupid shaded rectangle thing. What does that represent? It just represents a support resistance zone. I don't draw the zones too small like that just because, price leaks through it, below it, and when price tests it as resistance, it goes above it. I don't try to do it like this either because then you have no clear area to control risk, right? The only usefulness behind support resistance is being able to put a stop loss on the other side of the zone if you're using stops to trade with. It gets kind of to be more of a pain in the ass whenever you're entering your trade right here and your stop has to go way on the other side of the zone. And then also your target has to be bigger, so your trade duration is going to be longer, and it's just going to be less likely to result in profitability, in my opinion. But then again, you don't want the zone too small either. So I just draw the zones where they quote unquote make sense to me. Again, you could just follow my Telegram to see where I put all my zones, and then you can literally see like just daily updates for all the potential trades and everything. If you want to follow my exact trades, just join the Nick's Trades group. It's like $250 a month right now. I'm probably going to raise the price pretty soon, but you can follow all my exact trades in there, and we even have a little trading chat. We've got this dude named Steve. If I said your name wrong, I'm so sorry. This guy joined, and then he's I'm assuming this is real. I don't want to, it would really suck if this is a demo account or if it's like a funded account, but I'm assuming this is real. He just posted it here. The dude's made $7,000, it looks like here, and then another one here is he's made $3,000. So that's pretty cool. There was also a dude on my live session this morning because I do like live trading sessions, and I do like live Zoom calls in the mornings. And one of the guys on there said, yeah, I joined like 2 weeks ago, and I made $10,000 on your Euro AUD trade that you called out because he risked the same as me. He did the same lot size, same risk, same everything. And he's trading with about $100,000 account, he said. So it's been pretty crazy. And I just opened up a group chat for it too. So, if you want to be a part of the group chat and be able to follow my exact trades, just join the Nick's Trades group. But if you just want the analysis, the Telegram's a great place to do this. I actually recommend you don't buy the Nick's Trades group and just join the Telegram for a week or two and first kind of get a feel for how I trade, because that way you'll kind of see it's very simple. You'll see how it works and you'll be like, oh, okay, this is pretty fun. This is a no-brainer. And then you can watch me post a few pictures of cars and whatever other bullshit I feel like. Then you can come on, join the Nick's Trades group. But until then, all I do is I just draw zones here on the daily chart. I kind of glance around at different time frames. Sometimes I look at the 4 hour, sometimes I look at the 1 hour, and I kind of put everything together and kind of decide, okay, what do I think is a good trading opportunity? Euro AUD, I thought this was a good sell because price came into the zone and started to bounce, and then I entered. Now, let's go over a few other trades I've taken. I took a GBP USD trade, and I took this trade 2 weeks ago. All this is tracked in the history of the Nick's Trades group, as well as you can see on Telegram. But I took this trade right here. So why did I take this trade? I took a sell. The reason I took a sell is because price came into a support resistance zone that I thought was very clear. As soon as price got into this zone, why did I draw the zone? It has a nice bounce here, a little bit of a bounce here. It broke below, retested it as resistance, then bounced downwards from it. When price came back to it, I just thought, this zone looks to be pretty relevant. We're having pretty clear price interactions. If it gets into this zone, I'm going to sell. So I did. That one popped off down here, and on this one, I made $14,000 profit. And again, this is all documented in both the Telegram and the Discord. That was a trade I actually took. What am I waiting for now? I'm waiting on GBP USD to come up into this zone. Why do I think this is a good zone to trade off of? Well, it's very simple. Price has had a nice movement away from this zone, and then whenever it came down here, it made a low, popped up, made a lower high, and then had a nice pull away from it. If price can get all the way up there, I think that would be a good place to sell. Not to mention, if we go back a little bit further, you kind of have to thicken it up a little bit like that, but it does look like to be a pretty clear area where price is bouncing as resistance. There's a little bit of leakage here above the zone, but price is not perfect. In general, it's had a couple bounces there. Then you also see we swung around here and bounced as support whenever price broke above the zone and came back to retest. It broke below the zone, came back to retest as resistance and bounced away. I just think that if it comes up here to this zone again, maybe it'll bounce, right? So what would a trade look like if it gets up into that zone? And remember, I'm just using the clear zones. I'm not using any shit like this where it's like, it's like it bounced and then broke below and then tested as resistance, but then said fuck you and came back above and tested as support and tried to make a new high but failed and then came and touched the zone, bounced briefly before breaking and coming back. I don't use zones like that. I just use the zones where it's pretty clear, right? It bounced there, it bounced there, it bounced there. When it broke above, it came back and then it bounced as support. It came back, it broke through the zone, it bounced as resistance. To me, I just use the zones that are very, very clear. And of course, this is a subjective thing. A zone that's clear to me isn't necessarily going to be clear to you. I have my own way of trading. You're going to have your own way of trading. No two people are ever going to trade alike. I look at the charts and I've gotten enough experience to kind of use that little discretion, price action, discernment, intuition to be able to make the subjective judgment, in my opinion, of what I think constitutes a good support resistance zone. And you can do the same. You just need some experience keeping it really, really simple and finding a way to control risk. And if you keep doing this shit over and over again, eventually it's just going to kind of occur to you like, that's a shitty zone. I'm not going to use that. But then you wait and you find another trade. And you're like, but this is actually a pretty good zone. This looks like a pretty good trade. So then you take that, right? That kind of trade selection that's going to help that's going to help kind of make up your edge and consist of profitability, hopefully, for maybe like 10% or less of you watching this video, given enough time and experience. So that's why I think this is a good zone. I'm going to look to sell GBP USD right there. Let's go look at another super clean trade, which was GBP CAD. I took this, I made almost $10,000 on this, but it made like, I think it was 8,700 on this trade. Yeah, so it was 8,600. I see I am a complete fraud. I lied again. I said 8,700. I'm sorry. It was actually 8,600. It was probably even a little bit less because swap fees. So maybe like 8,400, 8,500 when all is said and done. This trade, actually, no, there was only one swap fee because this trade took like a day to play out. Here's the trade I took, and I want you to see how simple this is, because the simple trades are generally the best ones, right? The ones where you don't have to walk across the tightrope of mental gymnastics to try to explain it to all your friends. Like, it was the liquidity distribution of the fair value gap, accumulation, Wagyu beef, bullish, Kobe steak, institutional order block, candlestick entry strategy. This is the reason I've taken the trade in the fundamental outlook for the Japanese yen versus the US dollar and President Trump in office. You don't have to do any of that shit, right? It doesn't have to be this long drawn out thing. You know why I sold GBP CAD, right? So this is the complicated analysis. I sold GBP CAD because it came into what I thought was a clear resistance zone. That's it. I drew a stupid little shaded rectangle here on the chart, and it came into the little stupid rectangle, and I sold, and then it bounced away and hit the profit target in like, it was like a day and a half. Like it wasn't long. Like however, I mean, let's just go look, right? Here's the original trade. I risked $10,000, right? My stop loss was above the zone. Target was at a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio for $10,000. This was, so February 3rd at 2025. And this is February 3rd at 7 p.m. So it was actually the same day. So it was literally the same day. It came down, and it did the little bullshit thing that Euro AUD did today, where it almost hit the TP, but then like due to spread, it didn't fill at the TP, so it started to tug away. This one actually ended up going back down and would have met the profit target, but I closed right here. So I said I'm closing GBP CAD here for $8,600 win. I missed out on $1,400. I'm such a trash trader. I can barely get it right a little more than half the time, but at least I made $8,000 on this one. And yeah, so that was a nice winning trade. There was a couple more. There was literally no more. There was just the Euro AUD trade that I just closed in profit today. But outside of that, like, it's just waiting for the very simple setups. This was the whole trade. It was a sell at resistance, right? Now, of course, there's going to be people who are like, but hang on, Nick, why wouldn't you maybe buy or sell right there at that? Because that is a zone, isn't it? And then if you really start playing mental gymnastics, you're like, well, technically it bounces resistance and broke above, and then it support, and then it broke below, and look, it was resistance there, broke back above and found some support. So maybe it's actually a little bit lower than the support there and this and that. The thing is, when price just screws off through a zone over and over again, I'm trying to be somewhat PG here. I know I'm cursing a little bit. You're just gonna have to bear with me. I'm not some sophisticated, like, professional investor tech bro guy. I'm some degenerate gambler who's been trading for like almost a decade, and I'm just doing whatever the hell, like, like seems to work for me. And that's been working very well for like the past 7 years that I've been profitable trading. I'm not very sophisticated, so please excuse my French if I start cursing a little bit. I don't want to be too demeaning or too condescending here, but when price starts screwing off through a screwing off through a zone a couple of times, it just means it's like less likely to work, in my opinion. I prefer to use zones like this, which is why you see I actually have a trading view alert there right now, 1.749, because what do I want to do if price comes into this zone? I want to look to buy. Why do I want to look to buy? Well, it's very simple, right? Every time prices come to this zone recently, it bounced there as resistance, had a little bit of a tug away. When it broke above, it came back, and then it bounced here as support. And then after it bounced there as support, we had a nice bounce, came back, bounced to support again, came back, bounced to support again. And there's not anything specific, right? It's not like this is the zone right here, and price, bounced right exactly at this exact moment here. So, or it's not like you're putting it up here like that's the resistance, and so it screwed off through this zone, or you're not drawing it down there where you're like, no, it has to come all the way to that low. These two didn't even count because it's not a touch of the zone, right? You don't have to be so like exact and precise about it. Draw the zone where it kind of encapsulates most of the price data, set the alert somewhere in the middle, and just wait. Just freaking chill and just wait. If you do this and you're using higher time frames, if you're using the monthly and the decadely chart, maybe you're doing a little bit too much, right? You're waiting 10 years for a setup to set up, and then 10 years later, the candle doesn't close bullish at the zone. So now you're waiting another couple of decades, and you're having to pass down your trading account to your kids 200 years from now to be able to place a trade. I'm not advocating that's what you do. So maybe don't use like the decade or the century chart or the annual chart. I look at the yearly time frame, bro. I'm an institutional investor. You don't have to do that, right? The daily is kind of a good sweet spot. Even the weekly and monthly are a little bit too high for me personally. And then the 4 hour and the 1 hour kind of use in tandem. But a lot of this stuff is kind of based around like daily, 4 hour. Depending on whether you zoom in or out, they all kind of look like the same time frame, in my opinion. That's just me. Like going to the 4 hour and zooming out a little bit versus going to the daily and then just zooming in a bit, it almost looks like the same damn thing. But a lot of it just starts from like, what I would call higher time frame, which is daily, but I'm not talking like weekly and monthly. Like you can do that, sure, and it works fine, but it's just like you're going to be in trades for quite a long period of time in general, in my experience. But then if you're using like the 1 minute time frame, you're like, bro, it's a clear support resistance zone in the 1 minute. There's not really enough volume traded at that area to like actually make it something you can really rely on and make big bets behind and put money, like risk 10K, 50K, 100K on, in my opinion. Maybe you're better at trading than me. You can do that. Also, you run into leverage issues if you're trading with a US regulated broker like me, which is forex.com. I show my accounts, I show my account numbers, I show everything. I show the whole P&L, I show the screen recorder history. You can't do that if you're using huge position sizes, risking like 10K on the 1 minute time frame with like a 10 pip stop loss. It just doesn't work. Plus you have spreads, which if you have like a 10, 20 pip stop loss, the spread alone is going to eat up like 10 to 20% of your profit and stop you out 10 to 20% quicker because only one bar on the spread has to hit your stop loss to just get you ruined of the trade, and you just hit the stop loss and you're out. So it just becomes really hard. But if you're swing trading and you have a good sweet spot, like me, like, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, putting it all together, it's pretty nice for trading, right? And it's fine. You don't have to use too heavy of a position size because your targets will generally be a little bit bigger. But it's not like you're sitting around in trades for like months or years or decades or centuries. It's not like you're sitting in a trade for a millennia, right? Your great grandpa entered the trade back in the Roman Empire 2,000 years ago, and then now you're like, yeah, I think it's getting close to the target, and you're going to close it. You don't have to do it like that, right? None of that. You can like look at the daily chart, and you can kind of let things come together that way. GBP CAD, I'm waiting for it to come down here, and if it gets into this zone, I'm probably going to buy, depending on if everything still looks good, depending on if the context is right. Now, let's go and look at a few more that I'm looking at, right? Let's just kind of go through my analysis here. What am I looking on Euro AUD? Nothing at the moment. I'm actually going to drag it down here. I'm kind of going to be waiting. This was kind of far away, which is why I don't even have an alert here yet. But if price gets all the way here into these lows, I'll be looking to buy. I think this would be a very sweet spot to buy. So that's Euro AUD. Now, USD JPY, I'm looking for something similar. There's this zone right here. Price is coming to this area. It's bounced as resistance once right here. Came up to this area, kind of stuttered a little bit and struggled before breaking above, but then we came back and had a nice bounce. What am I waiting for? This is very complicated, so you need to pay very close attention to this. You ready? I'm waiting for it to come down into this zone, and then I'm probably going to buy. and my stop loss will go slightly below the zone. My target will go at a 1-to-1, and if it bounces up, cool. And if it doesn't, I'll stop out. I'll lose like 10 grand or something. Maybe it'll be a partial loss and I lose like 5 grand or 7 grand. Or, if it stops out and I lose 10 grand, that's no big deal. But if it comes here, if it just goes into this area where it's already bounced 2 times very clearly, I can't argue any of this back here. This didn't look clear at all to me, but it has bounced there as resistance very clearly, broke above, then bounced very clearly as support. I'm just the dude saying, hey, if it comes here into the zone, maybe it'll bounce again. And if it just has a little tug off the zone, right? Like this in the past happened here, right? That's like 370 pips, which that sounds like a lot. But for USD JPY, that's not a lot because the average pip movement for this pair, the average daily range, average true range is very large. The last time it was here at this zone, we bounced 960 pips, almost 1,000 pips. If I'm over here just trying to get 350 pips, right? About a third of that move, it's not that big of a deal, right? And it changes even more if you like tighten up the stop just a little bit and tighten up the target. Now you're going for like, maybe 300 pips, right? So a little bit less. This little tiny move here off the zone is just, you're just trying to get a little bit of a predictable bounce, right? And you only do that by using really clear support resistance zones in the higher time frames. That's USD JPY. Euro USD, I'm waiting for price to come up here to this resistance zone, and then if it gets there, I will look to sell. Now, full disclaimer, I think that GBP USD looks a little bit better, right? Because we already covered that. GBP USD looks like this. I just, for some reason, think that's a little bit sexier. I don't know why. I just get a little nice feeling when I look at the GBP USD chart. I just look at it and I'm just like, you are looking good, girl. But then I go look at Euro USD, and Euro USD is like her sister, who's like still kind of cool, but just, not as cool as like, the other first sister. So, you could date them both. Maybe you enter both trades. But then at the same time, if they're both crazy, then you've got what I call a double whammy on your hands. So you're an adult. I'm going to leave you to that. And if you're a woman watching this video, welcome to this channel. I swear I'm not a misogynist. I'm just doing my best here. I'm trying to keep it all together here for my audience here. So GBP USD and Euro USD, I do think that they both represent decent sell opportunities. I just think GBP USD looks like a little bit sexier. AUD Canadian dollar. What am I waiting for on this? I'm waiting for price to come up here. I don't see this zone being that clear going all the way back there, but I do see this zone being like a really clear stopping point if price could knock out this recent high and come up in here to test this resistance zone. We've had a nice clear couple bounces here and also a nice clear couple bounces here as support. So it was support, broke below, found resistance a couple times, came down. I just think it's just going to come up here and maybe have a little bit of a bounce, right? Do you ever know that a trade's going to work? Absolutely not. Of course you don't know. If you make that statement, you are really delusional. You should go join ICT's group and do smart money concepts because, those people are more confident about everything. When I'm over here, like not very confident about like anything. I'm just like, maybe it'll bounce, maybe it won't. No one really knows. If you just absolutely know where the institutions are buying, you just go do that shit instead. I'll keep sitting here trading my support resistance, making 10K per trade. I'm going to be selling right here, most likely, assuming the context still looks good. And if it breaks above, whatever, it's 70 pips stop out, I'll lose 10K. And if it just has a little bit of a bounce away, right? It doesn't even have to make a new low. It could still do this little uptrend thing or whatever the hell this is. I don't use trend lines, but it could come up here. And then if it comes up here into this zone and then bounces away from it, it doesn't even have to, like it could still come here and like find support at this area, for example. And I'd still be fine because I'm just targeting a little bounce away from the zone. So I love stuff like this. I just love stuff like this, these trades where like you don't have to target, you don't have to target the moon. You don't have to like try to take a rocket ship to the moon if you're buying. You don't have to target like the bottom of Mariana's Trench or whatever the lowest portion on Earth is where you have to go all the way deep down into the ocean. You're trying to target that target. You don't have to be a hero, right? This is like we're taking a little splash in the pool, but we're just taking that little splash with $10,000 risk per trade. So you don't have to be a hero placing huge profit targets, but you definitely, I don't know, you just want to keep it reasonable. You'll learn with experience as you keep going. As we come down to Euro JPY, I almost took a trade on this last week, or I guess it was like closer to 2 weeks ago now. So when was this? February 10th. So this was like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Price came into this area. I was waiting for it to go a little bit lower. Originally, I had my zone right here. And this is still a valid zone, but the fact that it's already bounced, I would wait for it to come all the way down lower into this kind of major zone down here before looking to trade. It's already just had a little bounce there. This missed, my alert was like 30 pips below the low, and so I missed that alert. And then me and one of my clients, we were talking about on the live session this morning, we were both kind of sad because like he could have made 10K on that too. The guy I told you about at the beginning of this video. And I could have also made 10K. So conglomerate, that could have been like 20K. We could have bought like a really nice Toyota Supra and then done a nice custom build and like a really cool body kit. But instead, we can't put the down payment for the Supra now because we missed the Euro JPY trade. But not to worry, it could be coming down a little bit deeper into the support zone. And if that does happen, that would be so sexy. That would be so painfully sexy. I would ask for Euro JPY's phone number if it went down all into that zone, because I could tell you right now, I would be hitting that up in my trading terminal. I would open up my trading terminal. I would, do the position sizing, the 10K risk, figure out the lot size, and then I would enter that thing. Painfully good trading setup. And guess what? If it stops out, that's okay. I lose 10K. I'm on to the next one. As long as I win a little more than half the trades, my year ends out profitable. The trade would look something like this. Now, exactly like this, who the hell knows, right? Maybe I enter a little bit further up here. Maybe I enter even lower down here. But the trade setup, if I take it, should look something like this. Of course, whatever all the exact trades I take, I call here in the Nick's Trades group. And you can ask me any question here in the trading chat. You can just join and you can just ask me whatever the hell you want. And plus we do live sessions and everything too. And but I'll call it here in the Nick's Trades group, whatever trades I actually take. Again, if you're not in the free Telegram channel, follow the analysis. Just make sure you're doing that. That's Euro JPY. I'm looking for buys if it gets there into that zone. Now, as far as Euro AUD, I don't know yet. I'm just going to be waiting. If it comes down here, maybe, but that's going to take a long time to set up. Euro GBP, I'm not really too serious about this because I personally think it'll make a new low. Why do I have the genius idea that it'll make a new low? Well, I don't know. I mean, it just looks like it's kind of going down for now, doesn't it? This is not any complicated technical analysis. It just makes sense to me that I think, okay, well, it's been kind of going in a downtrend like for a while. It just seems rational that it might make a new low. So I'm not really too excited about buying there, but I do have an alert. I'll watch and see what price action does if it gets there. For USD CAD, this is another one of those, like, I don't really know type of trades. If the US dollar remains strong because we got Trumpy Wumpy in office, then this might just crack above this area and continue up. For now, I'm going to just kind of evaluate it and see what happens if price gets to that area, because if that happens, then perhaps I might sell, but I'm not sure. Euro GBP and USD CAD are two really big ifs right now. They're one big roll of the dice, and I'm not really too excited about either one of them. GBP CAD, this is one of those things like Euro AUD, where price would have to come all the way down here to the lows to be able to bounce. And that's it. That's all the analysis I really have. Even GBP NZD, I'm not really too serious about taking either one of these. We've already bounced here at this zone down here. And so I'm not too excited about getting in another buy there because we could just break on that second touch. If it comes up here to this resistance, maybe it'll bounce, but then again, it's in an uptrend, so I think it'll make a new high. So I'm not really too excited about that. NZD CAD, I don't see anything on this right now. There's a low here, like where it could be bouncing as support, so I do have my alert, but we're a little bit far away, plus the average daily range, the average true range of NZD CAD is very low. It's a very nice mean reverting pair, and it's real rangy, but this could take like another month for it to like come all the way down there. We'll see. Euro Canadian dollar, I've got my alerts here. I don't really see like anything too serious on this either. I see that zone there, and then I also have this resistance zone up here. If you're drawing the support resistance zones like this, like you will see that it is like so simple. You should be able to see the zone within like the first 5 seconds of opening up the chart and looking at the daily. Not too far zoomed in where you're only looking at like 10 candles, but not like too far zoomed out where you're looking at like a decade of price data. None of that. Just like how much am I looking at right here, right? I'm just kind of going back and I'm looking. Happens to be April of 2023. So what? It's about 2 years of data. Sometimes I'll go a little bit closer, and this is like about 1 year of data that I'm looking at. So it's just, you don't want to like be doing like this where you're like, dude, the daily candle closure didn't break the low and then wicked it out. Now it's going to be closing above the open of the candle. Now we're going to buy. Like, you don't want to be doing that. You just want to, but you don't want to be going out so far where you're like, the institutional investors back here 10 years ago in September of 2015 knocked out the high and then came back down. You just want to like contextualize it and look at what you think is relevant based on where current market price is. If current market price is here, where's the next significant area that you think it might be stuttering at, right? Where's the next area you think it might stop at? And then just draw those zones. And those are generally the simplest ones. There'll be one above price, one below price. Set the damn alerts and wait. I get into a lot of stupid trades by not waiting. So please take my advice from it. I have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars taking really, really shitty trades. And I just don't want you to have to go through that as well, because that's really, really injured my trading profitability. I'm already barely profitable to begin with. So I really don't want to injure it any more than it already is injured, because I'm like barely flying on one wing here. CAD JPY, I don't see anything at all. There's no clear structure. There's no clear zones to me. So I'm just kind of waiting. AUD USD. Some people, I have some clients selling this. I just, for some reason, I don't feel like this is good enough or relevant enough. And I don't know why. You could tell, but Nick, it bounces support here 1, 2, 3 times. So if it comes all the way up into here, it should bounce as resistance. I get it. I think Euro USD and GBP USD represent much better trading opportunities, particularly GBP USD. So that's what I'm going to focus on. AU, I'm just kind of ignore. GBP AUD, I think this is going up long term, but I don't see any trade I could take that has a good enough risk structure, because the stop would have to go really far below the recent lows. There's not anything clear here to me personally, though I do think GA will go up. AUD NZD, I don't know. NZD USD, I don't know. Again, it's the similar situation as AUD USD, where maybe it comes all the way up into there and bounces, but that's a hell of a lot further away than price is at right now. And I still think GU is the better opportunity. GBP JPY, just like the other JPY pairs, I'm not really too sure, so I'm not really going to go too far into it. As we wrap this up, Bitcoin, where the hell is Bitcoin going to go? Where's the alt season? Why are we not pumping? Why are we not making millions in crypto yet? Well, I don't know. Bitcoin's just been kind of going sideways here for quite a while. Who knows what will happen? I think it's going to go up at some point. It's just a matter of time. So I'm just waiting. I haven't sold anything. I'm just not doing anything. I'm just waiting. Same thing with Algorand. Where the hell is the altcoin season at? If this gets back to the most recent high that it just made back in December, that's over 100% gain from where it's at right now. And if it gets back close to the highs of, back in 2021, this thing could like 8x, 9x, 10x. I mean, it's gonna be pretty crazy. So I have Bitcoin and a little bit of Algorand. And, these have nothing to do with technicals or support or resistance. But you know what? If you want to be really cute, you can just draw a support zone here on Bitcoin, and that can make you feel a little bit better about maybe price will go up. But that has nothing to do with it. So I'm just going to take this off and not act like I know what I'm talking about, because I don't. I just think Bitcoin will go up because crypto, bro. So with that being said, that's how I trade. I trade support resistance. I trade buy support and I sell resistance, and I don't do all this magical fairy tale, like Wizard of Oz type of stuff to try to figure out what trades it is. I draw the clear zones and I buy or I sell. If you want to follow the analysis for free, join the Telegram channel. If you're not in there yet, just please join. It's literally, why am I begging you to join? You know what? You join if you want to. Maybe you shouldn't join. Maybe you should just try to do this on your own. So maybe don't join my Telegram channel. Ugh, so cringe. Maybe you should not join my Discord group, and you shouldn't chat with me, and you shouldn't follow my trades. Maybe you shouldn't even like the video. You just shouldn't do a damn thing. You should do whatever the hell you want to do. So if you enjoyed this video, good. I hope you have fun doing whatever the hell you want to do, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers, my friend.